I guess I should put my hair back for this one, girls. Hello, beautifuls. Welcome back to my Chanel. So, I had a boob job. All right, my lovelies, so the eagle-eyed among you have been waiting eagerly for this video where I tell you about my breast augmentation experience, specifically a breast enlargement. So I guess I should give you a little bit of backstory as to why I've decided to have this operation. So if you don't know me, if this is your first ever video of mine, welcome to the Chanel. My name is Luxeria. I live in London. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a Twitch streamer. And also I am transsexual. I am a trans woman. If you have a problem with this, you can leave, you can go. Goodly bye, and I began my transition about 10 years ago, and I believe I've been on hormones now for 8 years, coming up 8 years. That's a long time. So for those of you who don't know, hormonal changes when you go on HRT, hormone replacement therapy. If you take the medical transition route, generally the HRT regimen is an anti-androgen and an amount of estrogen in order to feminize the face and the body. I respond very, very well to medicine. I don't know what it is. I've got quite a good amount of receptors for things, it would seem, especially when it comes to sex hormones. And the reason why that is because I was born mildly intersex. I've never shared that on the internet, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it because it's actually quite common. 1 in 500 people has an intersex condition that they may not be aware of. Interestingly enough, that number actually coexists with potentially the amount of trans people that are on the planet. Science. You guys followed me on my journey last year to have facial feminization surgery. And that for me was going to be like my one big surgery I was going to do in 2022. And then it actually dawned on me that I could potentially have a second surgery in 2022 as my healing went really well from FFS. And for me, it was a toss-up between my voice or my chest. And weirdly enough, after my FFS surgery, I actually didn't have as much vocal dysphoria as previous. I don't know why. Sometimes the brain works in mysterious ways, shall we say. So, where do we begin, girls? I didn't exactly have a small chest. I will be putting in some videos and clips here of like befores and afters so you can actually understand the size that I went to and basically my journey getting to this point. I have no idea just how much I can actually show in this video on YouTube because I don't know what their nudity guidelines are. I mean, I know it's like, don't show a tit, girls. I'm also like, this is medical. Can I just like show you a little bit? So I started as a 36B. I noticed on hormones pretty quickly that my chest began to increase in size, and I actually ended up about a 36B before this specific surgery, and I think that took about 4 years to fully kick in and mature. After about 4 years, I didn't really see any sort of increase in size, or at least any dramatic increase in size on my chest. Now, I must actually say that I wasn't like hugely unhappy with the way that my chest looked. I think to actually get a B cup of growth is incredible from just HRT. And I know you're going to be asking, so if you weren't so unhappy with your chest, why did you decide to go for surgery? And my answer for that is that dysphoria can sometimes be pretty loud. Even after my facial feminization surgery, sometimes my dysphoria in here is pretty loud. Even though my boyfriend is like, no, you're not masculine in the slightest, you're so beautiful. I still am like, I could be more feminine, more femme fatale, and I could definitely do with feeling more feminine. So with healing after my FFS and the amount of time that we had left in the year, it kind of coincided that I could actually have the surgery in November last year. So on November 18th, 2022, I had a breast enlargement. I'm just going to do a quick little side note here and just say, I feel so incredibly feminine without any clothes on. Oh my God. The shape is just everything that I wanted it to be. So who did I go with and what made me pick my surgeon? Now, I do actually want to stress completely in this video that this video is not sponsored or gifted or an advertisement in any way, shape or form. This is just my experience. I paid for this completely myself and did not receive any funding, sponsorship, anything at all. So I decided to go with the cosmetic surgery company MYA in England. Now, if you have ever looked at like breast augmentation, you will notice that MYA comes up quite a lot. And the reason why I went with them is because they have incredible reviews. I know some trans people who have already gone with them in England, and the surgeries that they provide always lean towards the more natural based results, which is exactly what I wanted. I am a bit of a fan of like bimbo slut aesthetic, but I also realized that I have a somewhat of an athletic build. I'm a little bit thick. neck with 3 C's if you like as well. And I also have like very rounded shoulders and I wanted everything to remain in proportion. So as much as I could have gone like 600 cc's of silicone, I actually just wanted more of a natural result, but kind of pushing right up to the edge of what natural is. I feel like that's my entire look, full stop, is I go kind of up to the line and don't really cross it. So MYA is much more of a company that kind of matches you with the appropriate plastic surgeon for whatever it is that you want to go with. My other choice in the UK was Nuffield Health, but I just felt like MYA was a bit better for me. So MYA ended up matching me with Dr. Miletto, who you can see here on his website. He has been practicing in the UK since 2010, performing over 5,000 procedures of plastic and post-bariatric surgery. And when I met him for my consultation, it was perfect. He really listened to everything that I wanted. He listened to my ideas of what glam and what my body shape should look like and like where I want to be when I heal kind of thing. My initial idea was to go slightly smaller than what I ended up with. But after discussing things like swelling and usually enjoying things that are a bit more swollen, and then when they shrink a little bit, there is a slight chance sometimes of people wanting to be that little bit like swollen look. They want that little bit of extra that's gone. I definitely have that when I get my lip fillers done. So whenever I get lip fillers, I do tend to swell quite a lot. And then about a week into my swelling going down, I really like where they're at. And then they'll always shrink a little bit more. And I'm like, this is fine. But I do like that little bit more plump, you know? Once again, not going for anything completely off the scale and wild for my body shape or type. You do use this though if you love having bimbo slaps. At the consultation, you have to try on different sizes of implant and basically discuss all the different types of implant that you can have and all the different shapes they're in, all the different finishes and what your like final goals are going to look like. My anatomy, being a trans person, is a little tiny bit different to other people, shall we say. That's just fact. So I don't exactly have a wide chest size, but I knew that my implants would have to fit with the proportion and sit in a way that my neck, my décolletage, my chest, and then my like waistline all had to go in this like shape like this. I guess that's kind of like an hourglass shape, isn't it? That's what I wanted. And Dr. Miletto really met that and exceeded that expectation. It was great. After trying on different shapes and sizes of silicone implant, I decided to go for a smooth, round, high profile 375cc silicone implant. That is a mouthful. I had my implants done under the muscle to provide a much more natural looking finish. You can have implants put over the muscle, but sometimes this can result in something called rippling, which is where the implant looks like it's wiggled a little bit. It's more common in saline implants than it is in silicone implants, but nevertheless, I went for under the muscle. So if I show you here on this chart, this one here, the high profile, is what I went for. As you can see, the kind of shape changes depending on the amount of silicone you get in terms of the profile of the implant. So the profile is obviously how it looks from the side, like this. So the high profile implants have a narrow width at the base, giving you the maximum projection from the chest. This option is ideal for petite women who have a narrow chest wall. I went for high profile because I kind of wanted something with a lot of volume so that it looked really nice in like bikinis and dresses and things, but I also could have gone for moderate. It was kind of a bit of a toss up for me between them. So the moderate would have given me a little bit more cleavage, which would have been nice, but I ultimately settled on the high profile because I really loved the way that it looked. So at the consultation, they ask you to bring a sports bra so they can literally slot in the implant and look in the mirror and see where you're thinking, how heavy they are, what they're going to look like, those sorts of things. And they build you up by certain amounts of sizes until you settle on something that you're happy with. Now, because I was already a size B, about a size B, I was probably just under a B cup, I ended up going for 375 cc's. Originally, the idea was 350 cc's, but I ended up settling on 375, and that is just under 2 sizes bigger. And at my post-operative appointment, I was confirmed to be a 36D, and I'm so happy with that. So happy with that size increase. So the reason why I got a smooth implant is because the textured implants can sometimes be associated with breast implant illness. Now, this is a rare complication that can happen, but it absolutely is something that you should look into and be aware of the risks. I myself am very aware of the risks, but I went with smooth because there is far less chance of any complications happening. And just to give you a little bit of an insight of what that looks like, here is a smooth implant, which is the one that I went for, and this is textured. Now, actually, the different types of implants do have slightly different surgical needs, and they also have slightly different like recovery periods, and also they'll look slightly different at the end of healing. Textured usually stay exactly where they're placed, and they're not designed to do something known as dropping and fluffing, which is what smooth textures do to create a little bit more of a natural finish. Dropping and fluffing I'm going to explain a little bit more about later. After trying on the different types of implants and sizes, I pretty much settled quite quickly on 375, and so we organized a date in the diary for November 18th, and that's when I had to do my pre-op checks. Now, being a trans person, anytime you get medical health care, especially if it's relating to surgery, you have to provide so much information. And I'm not blaming MYA at all for this. I think this is just a like policy thing in the UK. It's kind of scary because when I went for my hair transplant, I didn't have to prove that I was trans in the slightest in order to get a feminine hairline. But when I did go to get my breast augmentation, I had to provide quite a big bank of medical history to prove that I was trans, to prove this is like a permanent lifelong thing. And actually that's when I discovered that the NHS now in the UK allows all of your GP records to be available online to you via the NHS portal. This actually changed on November the 1st last year, and I was genuinely shocked about that because that actually made my life a little bit easier when it came to like collating all of my medical evidence in one place. I had to have a blood test to make sure that everything was fine. I had to have a health check to make sure everything was fine. I also had to look through my medical history, like family history and things, for any signs of complications that may arise. But I was all clear and ready to go, which I am so thankful for. Fantastic. I also found out in my GP records that actually my diagnosis is not just gender dysphoria as I thought it was. It's actually significant active transsexual. Love that.
Naughty mummy.
So leading up to the surgery, I didn't actually have as many nerves as I had when I was going for my facial feminization surgery. In fact, actually, I'm really glad that I did FFS first, because that to me was like monumental, life-changing, documentary needing surgery. This surgery for me was a walk in the park in comparison in terms of what I was expecting to happen to both my mental health and my body. So running up to the surgery, I did actually pre-film a lot of content here for YouTube because I knew I was going to need to take some time off of work. I think the actual recommended time is about 7 days, but I would have found that if I was working any other job except doing this, I probably would have had to have taken a little bit more time off work just because you are so restricted when you heal, and it is wild. So the night before my surgery on November 17th, 2022, I couldn't have any food or water from midnight the night before to make sure that my tummy was nice and empty and that I wasn't going to have any complications during surgery because I didn't listen and I really wanted scrambled eggs or something obscene. So, good morning. It is my surgery day. We are just about to jump in the car and go to where I need to go. I'm going to the New Victoria Hospital in Kingston, and I think it's like a 35-minute drive from here. So, yeah, I've got my bag full of all my goodies that I need. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm doing all right. A little bit nervous because surgery. I think it only takes less than an hour. So, it's like 5 a.m. right now. Nearly 6 a.m. So I'm all like... So I'm in my room. I have these beautiful gowns on and I'm just waiting for the nurse to come in. I think I've got to do a COVID test and then it's pretty much straight into surgery and done. So the next time you see me, I will have had a boob job. Oh. So, I am out of surgery now. They look great. I'm so happy with them. Feel a little bit woozy. I'm just starting to have sips of water. I'm really prone to nausea when it comes to anaesthetic, I have come to notice. So I've had like everything that they can give me for it. As you can see, I'm like, my tongue tastes disgusting, but I'm very, very happy. I guess I'll check in a little bit when I feel a little bit more human again. So before I went into surgery, Dr. Miletto came and drew some like surgical drawings on me to show exactly where my scarring was going to be. And he also made a note of the implant size that I'm going to have on my chest across here. So that's actually a great way, I guess. You write it on the patient of like, you are having this, do not put anything else here. Great idea. I don't think we've seen that on any of the plastic surgery shows that I watch here on the Chanel. I don't know what it is about me. I always need a little bit more than other people are having when it comes to anesthetic. I don't know why, this has just always happened to me. I've always needed a bit more than like a usual dose. So the anesthetist was still talking to me and I was still conscious. And then he was like, oh, we're gonna give you some more. And that's when I was gone. My surgery lasted about an hour and it wasn't particularly horrendous to wake up from. It was an outpatient event, so I didn't need to stay overnight. I just went back to my room, a little bit groggy and a little bit blah. And the nurses very kindly informed my boyfriend that I had woken up from surgery and it was all a success and it was gorgeous. I must actually also put in here that when you wake up from surgery is when they put a medical sports bra on you. Now, I went for the brand Macom. It is their signature post-surgery bra and it was recommended by my surgeon and it looks like this. It's also available in like nude color, an exotic red, how very exotic, and also like white, because that's a wonderful idea when you have fresh wounds. The surgical bra was actually really tight, but the nurses get it onto you. I was a little bit like unconscious, semi-conscious at this point, like just waking up from anesthetic, like what's happening? And the nurse was very lovely. She was like, we're just gonna put your bra on you now. And so they had to like shimmy it over my shoulders and go like in the middle. So post-surgery bras do up in the middle so you don't have to like basically move your arms in any difficult positions because this whole area is tender. And you have to wear that bra for 8 weeks, might I add. And also you get like this like compression band. It's like a beige compression band. Actually, I'm gonna get it. So this is what it looks like. Mine is a bit grubby because it's just, you know, it's been used for like 2 months. So this is what it is, and it would go around your chest like so. Oh, no hair in the way. And it would go like up here and push your boobs down into a place to stop them from rising up as the muscle reattaches and heals to ensure that your breasts like sit in the right place afterwards. I don't know if you have to wear this for every different type of implant, but for mine, my smooth round ones, I had to wear this. Oh, they actually refer to this as a binder. So my FTM brothers in the audience are a binder. Goodness, it's quite a lot, isn't it? And I stayed under observation for about 6 hours, and then my boyfriend came to get me, and we left to go home. And that was it. My new life with breasts. The hardest part about any surgery, I always find, is the sleeping. I'm a fully, like, face down, like, comatose, unconscious sleeper. That cannot really happen comfortably now that I have breast implants, so I'm now a side sleeper, or I can sleep quite easily on my back, actually, to be honest. But for the first 2 to 4 weeks after surgery, you have to kind of sleep, like, upright, like kind of like 60 degrees upright, like nonsense. So I actually stayed on the sofa for the first few nights because I didn't really want any chance of me like rolling over and like hurting myself whilst asleep. So I just kind of like stuffed 2 pillows by my side and just kind of like slept like this on my sofa. That's the most unpleasant thing about any surgery you're gonna have is the sleeping arrangements. I then went for my post-operative consultation and they had a look at my stitches and my wounds underneath my breasts. Now, I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to show you here on YouTube because Susan might get me, girls, but I really want to show you my scarring because I'm someone that does scar. I don't have a lot of like great results with scarring and it takes a long time for them to heal. Once they have healed, however, you can barely see them on me. Barely see them on me. I had dissolving stitches and they did take a while to fully dissolve, but they did eventually fully dissolve. And when I went to my post-operative consultation, it was all good. Everything was a-okay. There was nothing to really talk about. But my nurse did let me know that my breast still hadn't done that thing known as the drop and fluff. So when you have an under muscle implant, because the muscle is like so tense and it's like healing, it kind of takes a little bit of time to like soften up and for the swelling to go. And at that point, your implant kind of like sinks into its position that it's going to be in. So it's like a sink and an upwards, if that makes sense. So your nipples kind of look a little bit low at first. And then as the implant settles, they kind of readjust themselves and then they look ideal. They look exactly what you want. And that is exactly what I want. And I can't show you my nipples on YouTube. That is absolutely not going to happen.
How could you do this to me? Question mark.
So I had to wear the post-surgery sports bra for a full 8 weeks after my surgery. And I must actually admit, once you're like used to it, it's not that bad. I must admit though, I did end up getting like a secondary Amazon one, just as like a like for when my main one was in the wash. I just wanted to make sure that I still had something working. And the difference in quality in build of these items is astounding. So I would really only go with getting like maybe even 2 pairs of the Macon ones, because that was a superior bra, if I can say that. Now, the absolute hardest part that I found after surgery and healing in general was not really adjusting, looking down and seeing them, because I instantly fell in love with that. I was like, wow, I look great. Everything's going good. I've got really no pain. This side was a bit tighter than this side, but the tightness was just kind of like, it kind of felt like imagine if you'd like knocked your boob and you get that kind of like, it's like a really dull kind of like, ugh feeling. I had that a couple of times, but that's like a normal muscle healing feeling. I had a similar sort of feeling with my FFS at one point, which is completely gone now. And now I can like bounce them all over the place and they're fine. I can't believe I just did that. Restrictions while healing are just bonkers. It is wild. I actually didn't even foresee that I wouldn't really be able to like, I knew that I wouldn't be able to like reach up, but I didn't realize that like all my upper body strength would go. It was like 0, gone, couldn't do anything. So when I was like making myself food or something, I realized that I had to like reach up for pasta. And I was like, I can't do that. I'm like, oh, I'll just have a takeaway. I can't get pasta. So if you're going to go in for anything to do with your chest, any breast enlargement surgeries, breast reductions, anything to do with your breasts in general, what I would say is move all of the things that you would naturally go to reach for up here, whether that's in your bathroom, your shower, your whatever, kitchen, anything. Move it to like counter level top so that you don't have to extend your arms, because it's such an uncomfortable, weird feeling that it's not great. Talking about showers and bathrooms, my doctor actually said that I can shower after 48 hours just to not get the wounds wet. Now, this was kind of interesting. I actually got my boyfriend to wash my hair for me because I couldn't like get the angle right for that 48 hours. And then I left my hair a week. I know, kind of a bit grubby. Left it a full week before I washed it again, because I actually found that by the time that week had sort of like settled in, I could move my arms just enough to do this sort of a thing. No baths whatsoever. Talking about the weakness and loss of strength, I actually found it very frustrating, should we say, at just how much I had to miss the gym. Now, my last year, I had to take so much time off the gym last year. I'm not like a gym bunny by any stretch of the imagination, but my body type needs to have the gym. I need to do regular exercise and I need to watch what I eat. Otherwise, everything just goes chaotic very quickly. I swear I have absolutely no metabolism whatsoever. I think my metabolic rate is 0. I might as well be a corpse. Lip fillers will last way over a year on me. So I found that because I couldn't go to the gym, I have gained a little bit of weight. And that's kind of a little bit of like, ugh, with me, because I've been on a weight loss journey. If you've followed me here on the Chanel for a while, in 2019, I began my weight loss journey. In fact, it was kind of the end of 2018. And I really have put a lot of time and effort into the way that my body reacts to food, into the way that body reacts to diet and exercise, and just generally trying to make myself feel better about having a body, shall we say. So taking that time away from the gym was kind of a bit like frustrating. Probably it was compounded for me because I had to take so much time off the gym after my FFS. So last year was just kind of like a non-gym year. It really wasn't. This year, I kind of want to focus a bit more on my fitness because I'm going to be doing something in December that kind of requires me to be in a bit more of a fitter body state, shall we say, both state and shape. And I'm very excited for that, but that's kind of a reason why I wanted all of my surgery to be done last year. So I'm like, right, that was my surgery year, done, dusted, I can move on with my life. And now I'm like entering my like, trying to be a bit better, trying to treat my body with a bit more love this year, you know? So I did gain a little bit of weight throughout healing of this process, but it was also winter and it was also Christmas. So I'm not being hard on myself at all. I just know that I'm gonna have to put my money where my mouth is and actually do my exercise. As of this point, I'm about 11 weeks post-op and I'm just starting now to start my gym routine again, and I'm mostly focusing on legs and core and not really any upper body stuff. Not that I really did upper body stuff except triceps before anyway. And I know absolutely everyone is going to be asking about cost. Now, I have friends who have gone abroad for surgery and specifically implants, and it will always be cheaper if you go abroad for surgery if you live in the United Kingdom. Now, I really didn't want to take that chance. I really wanted to feel at home. Having done like a 2-week Marbella adventure for my FFS, I actually really just wanted the comfort of being in my own country, in my own home, and being in my home city, basically. So I did have to pay a little bit more of a premium for that, but it still wasn't a hugely expensive number. I hear these numbers being thrown around in like the Daily Mail of like these plastic surgeries that are costing like tens of thousands of pounds. It was not tens of thousands of pounds. Most places, unless you're going for very specialist cosmetic surgery, will give you a free consultation in which they'll talk about price and everything there. So I really do recommend picking 2 or 3 companies that you really like and approaching them for consultations to give you a really good, well-rounded idea of how much a breast augmentation costs. I will actually say on Maya's website, they have it listed here as breast enlargement from £5,795. And let me just say, mine was around that number in the ballpark. So my lovelies, I hope that I have answered most of your questions about my breast augmentation experience. I will be lurking in the comments of this video because there's no doubt 100% something that I will have left out in this video that you guys are going to be like, fizzing at the fingers to ask. Fizzing at the fingers. So with that, my lovelies, I want to say a massive thank you to the Patreons. You can see yourself scrolling past on the screen here, my loves. Yes, you can. I am also back on Twitch. You can go and follow me over on Twitch if you would like to see me live stream every Monday and Thursday, usually after my video upload, my love. We play a couple of video games over there. At the moment, we're doing something a little bit retro-y, a little bit of Fortnite, and also some Architect, one of my favorite games in the entire world ever. And as always, I want to say a massive thank you to my top tier Patreons. Aloria, Dr. Dreamerella, Laura Ali, Luke Peterson, Orko Samoji, Andy Henry, Autumn Holly, Beebles32, Caitlin Coating, Camille Sarah, Casey Donahue, Shell Herman, Christina Crownover, Christina Kyle, Connor, ContraPoints, Crafty Leaks, Danielle, Danny Smith, Deborah Gwynn, Donuts for Life, Dr. A, Jevod, Elizabeth Stone, Eric Castillo, Jarrell Pavlovsky, Jen Martin, Jenabeth Herman, Jenny Hendricks, Caitlin Wright, Catherine Ritter, Lane Wade, Laura Jane, Les Banana, Lisa Pennington, Mary Siren, Mazel Morell, Megan Holly, Min Min TM, Moisten 98, Mariah Sherman, Moldy Apple, Nadia Hamdi, Nixie Tricks, Paolo Rivera, Pink Caramel, Princess Lilium, Rachel VEC Biscuit, Romano, Ryan Vita, Sexy Texy RN, Slampire Queen, Sushwa, Steffutech, Succubus Lena, Summer Neff, Travaful Tromo, Victoria Corella, Zayanaza, and Zoe Xavier. And you know what, my loves? I'm gonna leave today's video on. Life is the single most longest experience you will ever have as a personal individual here on this planet. So make sure the decisions in your life involve long-lasting happiness. And with that, my loves, I'll see you in the next one. Titties.